Actually, wait, I'm not gonna play that long because I don't want to get copyrighted, but I actually have a better song that needs to be played, and my French Canadians will know what I'm talking about. I'm sure you guys love my production quality here of me just playing music off my phone. Anyways, today we're gonna do a little bit of a recap of the CrossFit Games, the individuals. It has been very exciting this year, that is for sure. I mean, last year there was a good show, but this year it was very exciting. We honestly had no idea who was gonna win. There was a lot of twists and turns, especially on Sunday. Let's talk about the guys first. We thought we were gonna have a PB&J podium. We were very close to it, which would have been fun. A clean sweep of Canadians on the top would have been nice, but even regardless, still Fikowski came fourth, which is pretty cool. And honestly, Roman Krenikov honestly does deserve to stand on the podium. And seeing Pat Fellner on the podium, honestly, that guy, love seeing him on the podium. And Jeff Adler, he has been putting in the work, and honestly, he is always so overlooked, but he is such a strong athlete, and it is so nice to see him on top of the podium. And of course, I'm Canadian, so I'm a little biased on these things, but I'm really proud to see two Canadians on top. So let's talk about Roman first. He was really aiming for first place. He had quite a big lead on literally everyone. He was dominating the field. However, when it came to Sunday, the last day, the first event, he jumped over the last log apparatus and ended up breaking his ankle, which really was hard, but it was really nice to see that he still continued through. He still put in as much effort as he could in the workouts. It was actually quite a beautiful moment to see him doing the heavy double unders on one foot, which is pretty incredible to do and takes a lot of strength, especially being tired. And it was really impressive to see him doing that. I mean, everyone was honestly crying because they were just so happy and proud of him. And I swear, Roman just has this big heart that everyone just loves his energy, and it's just really nice to see that everyone was supporting him and everyone was cheering him on. And it was just, I think, probably one of the most beautiful moments of the CrossFit Games. And of course, Adler and Vellner do deserve credit. I honestly did not think that I would be seeing them on the podium at the end of the weekend. Of course, I really hoped that they would be, but seeing them at the beginning of the weekend, it was not looking too hot for them, and I was like, oh, this doesn't look good. But at the end of the day, there they were. They just crawled their way up, which is so nice to see, which was a little bit of a shock this weekend, seeing Justin Medeiros so far down. I know that there was an issue on the bike event at the beginning of the weekend where he ended up crashing twice, I think with Lazar Dugic, and it seems like it just affected him. When it came to the next workouts after that, he just was crushed under the weight when it came to the pig, and it was actually just kind of sad to see. It was like he wasn't on top of his game. Nobody really knows why, but at least at the end of the day, he still was able to push through. He still really worked hard. He didn't give up. He kept fighting. He kept pushing for each spot that he could get into and kept working through those workouts. And honestly, he didn't give up, even though it might be a little bit of a shock and a little bit hard for him to accept that he's not on top of the podium this year, because he was 2 years in a row. But at the same time, it still shows a lot of courage, even though he's not at the top and he's still working his way through. Now I want to talk about the female side really quick. The podiums for the female side, we had another Canadian on the podium, but first I want to talk about Laura Horvath. Finally, I have been cheering for her for so many years. I am just a Laura stan, and I felt like she needed to be on top of the podium this year. I was rooting for her. I had my doubts at some points on the weekend. I was like, oh, is she gonna make it? Because there was like Alexis Raptis and then Emma Lawson. It was just so much happening, and it was really nice to see her finally on top of the podium. I am so proud of her, and definitely shows her hard work. I know a lot of people have their thoughts about her being on top of the podium, but I think that she worked hard and she deserves to be on top of there. It really goes for like a lot of things, even with the teams, even with the men, even with the women. A lot of people are like, well, because Tia's not there, Mal's not there, Mayhem's not there, Justin just ended up falling, so he was like, at the end of the day, these athletes put in so much work. Whether there's Tia-Clair Toomey in the field or not, Laura still deserves that recognition. She worked really fucking hard. She showed up every single day, and she deserves to be on top of the podium. We should never compare like, well, what if Tia was there? This. There's so many things that can happen that I really hate when people are like, well, what if, you know, Mayhem was still competing, then so-and-so wouldn't win. And it's like really annoying, because the people who are on top deserve to be on top and deserve that recognition instead of that kind of questioning whether they would actually make it if so-and-so was in the field. It's like, no, this is our reality. Tia didn't show up this year, Mal didn't show up this year. So you know what, Laura, she ran away with it and she freaking crushed it, and I'm so proud of her. Now let's talk about Emma Lawson. I love that girl. Of course, she's Canadian. I gotta love her, and I've actually been following her since she was a teenager in the teen division, and watching her come into the elite division has been just so beautiful to see her kind of just flourish in the elite division. I was actually really proud to see how she ended up last year, and for her to be on the podium this year is actually quite incredible. I think she is an amazing athlete and can really hold her own in the elite division. She's a really strong athlete in so many different aspects when it comes to fitness, which is really great, and it's nice to just see her really crushing it this year. And same for Ariel Lowen. I actually caught a video of Andrew Hiller talking to her, and she said that she had hired a strength coach this year, which it definitely has shown off that she has been working hard in the gym, getting stronger in the gym, and seeing her as a mom on top of the podium, and especially because she was considering in retiring and then coming back and just sitting in third place, was absolutely beautiful. I was actually quite shocked to see her on the podium, and I'm sure a lot of people were, but at the same time, it is well deserved. She deserves to be there, and she definitely worked hard, and she's a veteran, but she has worked really hard, and it's nice to see her up there. Now I want to talk about some of the different individual athletes, some of the things that they've gone through. First thing I want to talk about is Jack Farlow hitting the 396 clean and jerk. That was honestly amazing within itself, but something that really stuck out to me was the shoes that he was wearing. They weren't lifters, they were just kind of like regular shoes. I'm not sure what shoes specifically he was wearing, but I was kind of impressed that this man just clean and jerked 396 pounds in those shoes. And now I want to talk about Amanda Barnhart. A lot of people were a little surprised to see her so low on the leaderboard, especially since she was working with Matt Frazier, and he's quite a good, well-known coach that we all know, of course. And she ended up getting cut after the second cuts, and it was a bit surprising, but at the same time, she came out with an Instagram post saying she was fostering a 4-year-old boy about 5 weeks ago. And usually when it comes to fostering, in my knowledge, a lot of that ends up being very last minute. For her and her husband to welcome in a 4-year-old boy is a lot of energy. As a mom, it's a lot of energy and very time consuming, and for her to be training for the games and to be taking care of a boy and to become new parents, they're not parents, so they've never known how to parent, so to learn how to parent, to be thrown into that and to be trying to do games training, I think she did quite well, honestly. It did seem like she was off all weekend, but at the same time, I think it's pretty noble of her to be fostering a kid, especially 5 weeks before the game. She accepted that kid into her arms and still showed up for the games, which is absolutely amazing. So my hat goes off to you, Amanda. I hope this fostering journey is a beautiful one for you too, and all the best, and hopefully you can come back stronger next year. Next, I want to talk about Ellie Turner. She ended up withdrawing due to an injury as well. There seemed to be quite a bit of injuries this year, but it was also another beautiful moment. She said in an Instagram post that she ended up hurting her back in the alpaca during the kettlebell clean and jerks. She said she felt a sharp pain in her back. And then she went to sandbag squat workout, and she said she felt okay, but then when it came to Helena, she was really struggling, but she still wanted to show up for one last event and still kind of go through it. She didn't push herself too hard, but she still showed up, and that was still a beautiful moment. Everyone in the Coliseum standing up for her, cheering her on. She definitely deserved it, and those things, man, they just bring me to tears. Watching people cry makes me cry, and it was just another beautiful moment at the CrossFit Games. I swear, they make the CrossFit Games so dramatic and so emotional. I don't know, it just is. We get so invested and it becomes so emotional to all of us. And also Jamie Simmons pulled out for an injury as well. She said she felt a sharp pain in her elbow when it came to the snatch event, and just knew that for her career long term, it was better for her to pull out medically and not push through it, which is honestly a good thing for her long term. Now I want to just touch on really quick some really impressive athletes over this weekend. I mean, there was like so many impressive athletes, but there were some that just really stuck out to me. And one was Jay Crouch. Man, he just really impressed me overall. I was quite impressed with him. He's been working with Proven, and I think that he did so well this year. Same with Alexis Raptis. God, she just makes me smile. She just has a beautiful smile that just makes me smile. It's very contagious, and seeing her this year, especially as a leader pretty early on, was really impressive. She really dominated at a lot of events, and I honestly think she will probably be on the podium within the next year or so for sure. Same with Olivia Kerstetter. She was the youngest athlete to be competing in that division, and she held her own. I mean, really, sometimes it can be very intimidating when you're a young athlete, but at the same time, when you can hold your own, it is quite impressive. So I was really happy to see her doing quite well as well. I also would like to say that this year's programming was pretty good. I will say that there was a lot of pulling in this year's programming, but at the same time, it was pretty balanced overall. Like, I think when the programming is good is when we're seeing the different strengths happening in the leaderboard, and I think Bosman has been doing really great programming, and I think this year was really, really good. Even, I honestly think it's a little bit better than last year, not gonna lie. And I'm actually really excited to see how it kind of turns out next year, because I think the programming will have to be adjusted a bit, just because it depends where they're gonna be in the world, because apparently CrossFit is changing locations. I've talked about this in my last video, and I think that if we're changing locations, that means there's gonna be a lot of changes to some of the events and how things are gonna play out, just in my opinion. So I'd love to know what you guys think down below. I want to finish off this video with Laura Horvath saying these very beautiful words during her speech when she was announced the fittest woman on earth.
I'm just very happy that me and my body can do this, and I'm not looking at the new Barbie movie. Oh, I want to look like that. I want to look like what I look like. And I just want to prove that my body, whatever it looks like, can do these amazing things and move things from A to B and run fast and lift heavy and all those things. And I'm just very excited that little girls and also teenagers look up to all these amazing girls that are here, because our bodies are not us, we are what's inside. And it's amazing what our bodies can do if you put the work in.
This little speech brought me to tears, because this is something that I feel so passionate about. If you follow me on social media, you know I talk about this all the time. And it was just so beautiful for her to say these things, because so many women struggle with their body, and so many women struggle with their body if it doesn't look like the standard that we see in media. And this was just a perfect example that you can be the fittest woman on earth and not be the standard that we see on media. And I think that that is just absolutely beautiful. So that is it. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys thought of the 2023 CrossFit Games. I think that it was just a really exciting year, and nice to see a little bit of a change up on the podium. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button down below. You guys know where it is. And don't forget to be unstoppable, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!
Summer days burn me out, love just brings me down. Cold inside like winter leaves that slowly leave the ground. Hey, you come back, I wanna give you a chance. Love me like you used to, so we can learn again. The skin is getting brown, baby, drink your night.